This quote from Star Trek Deep Space Nine episode Soldiers of the Empire very accurately describes the nature of the Cardassians. For 2 years I've spent on the Cardassian border, 2 years of fighting gulls and legates and glins. They were cunning enemies, always had us chasing sensor ghosts and hollow projections. Everything was a game with them, a plan within a plan within a plan, leading to a trap. It was an honor to kill them. The Cardassian fleet doctrine is one that is not as well fleshed out as the other major powers. There are only 3 classes we've seen on screen: the Hideki class, Kelvin class, and the well-known Galor class. As you can see, the size jump from the Hideki to the Galor is significant. To fill this gap, many games come up with additional designs, but the workhorse of the Cardassian fleet is the venerable Galor class. The Galor is about the size of the Excelsior class used by Starfleet at about 370 meters, and like the Excelsior, Galors have been in service for a while, going all the way back to the early 24th century. They were the mainstay ship of the First Federation Cardassian War and continued to serve in the 2370s, notably in the Dominion War. The Kelvin class is a slightly upscaled and more heavily armed version of the Galor class. The Hideki class is a small patrol ship, so if we go with on-screen canon, it seems that these ships are the only other ships the Cardassians use. However, it makes a lot of sense that there were probably a lot of other classes that we didn't see on screen to fill in the space for destroyer and light cruiser roles. Many fans think that Cardassian ships are armed with phasers, but this isn't quite right. They use a weapon system similar to phasers called spiral wave disruptors. This kind of confusion among fans is not uncommon. In the first Next Generation episode where they appeared, called The Wounded, the Nebula-class Phoenix battled Cardassian ships that were said to be using phasers. But later episodes state that they used spiral wave disruptors. To be fair, Cardassian energy weapons remind us more of phasers than your typical Klingon disruptor. Spiral wave disruptors are a formidable weapon system, even compared to Federation phasers. It is not known if the Cardassians really use torpedoes, as we don't see them on screen, but many games arm them with photon and quantum torpedoes. And I should note that Deep Space Nine itself, which was originally called Terok Nor, a Cardassian space station, did have torpedo launchers. Most Cardassian cruisers also tend to have a large disruptor cannon in front of their ship here. The placement of this large weapon can be analyzed in a way to deduce Cardassian tactics. Kind of like the Klingons, the Cardassians have put most of their powerful weapons on a forward firing arc. The Cardassians are aggressive indeed, preferring to strike first and ask questions later. A group of these ships can execute a potent alpha strike with these weapons. However, unlike the Klingons, who tend to favor head-on attacks over most other strategies, the Cardassians are a little more flexible with their thinking. Galor-class cruisers are not known for their maneuverability, so they may not be able to turn quickly enough to bring their heavy cannon to bear in a lot of situations. Cardassian ships aren't paper thin like Klingon ships. They can transfer power from the heavy disruptor cannons to structural integrity, shields, and the smaller disruptor arrays, which are well placed to cover all firing arcs of their ships. Where other ships may be able to outmaneuver the Cardassian cruisers, it matters little when the Cards can tank the damage while having weapons that can sustain firepower. Another tactic that was referred to in Voyager when Seska, who turned out to be a Cardassian agent, defected to the Kazon, is something called the Cardassian Echelon. By spreading out and keeping some range between their ships and the enemy ships, the Cardassians are more likely to be able to bring those heavy weapons to bear against their enemies. Of course, when the Cardassians joined the Dominion, their fleet enjoyed a number of upgrades to their systems, especially structural integrity fields. This allowed the Cardassians to finally build a huge warship called the Hutet class. This ship only appears in certain games and easily matches the size of large Dominion ships and the Romulan D'deridex. The Cardassian Union is very different from the Dominion, and it's no surprise that they would eventually turn on the invaders from the Gamma Quadrant. To quote Lesket again, but you can respect a Cardassian, because he fights for his people, and he follows a code just like we do. But not the soldiers of the Dominion, not the Jem'Hadar. They don't fight for anything. They fight because they've been designed that way, programmed to fight. Thank you for watching, Space Friends. Be sure to comment, like, and share, and subscribe. Until next time.